2020. Wow. What a year it has been. It's been crazy. When I started this year out, I wanted it to be a lot about personal development and growth, and I wanted to focus a lot of my energy on being more joyful and choosing joy, regardless of the situation that I was in, being more thankful and grateful for whatever situation. And who knew what was coming for us this year? It's been a challenging year for a lot of people, for so many different reasons. There's people struggling with health situations, people struggling from the situation with COVID, from isolation, from not having that community. It's just been a really weird year. Let's just admit it. It's bizarre. But one of the things I've really kind of fallen back on was at the beginning of the year and really wanting to make sure I would choose joy regardless of the situation. And the last few weeks I've been thinking about, I love journaling and writing down the things to be thankful for, because it's really easy to forget to be grateful and show thankfulness with everything that's kind of coming at us. We get really lost in the day-to-day stuff. And I found that if I write down, 5 things I was thankful for that day, it just keeps me focused in that joy. And so I wanted to create basically a mini journal for thankfulness. So I could put it in my purse. I could have one by my nightstand. I can have one at the office, but just something I can grab and write down things that I'm thankful for as the day goes on, because I don't have the greatest memory and I tend to, wow, this is really cool. I've got to remember this later to write it as one of the things I was thankful for during the day. And honestly, I completely forget by the end of the night. So to be able to constantly focus that energy and that gratefulness, and to be able to write it in a book was something I really wanted to do. So I started searching for what's just a really easy, mini journal that I can create, like a mini pocket journal. And I found a design that is incredibly easy. I wanted to share it with you guys. I posted a few pictures and had a few questions on how did you do it. So I thought I'd do a really quick video. I'm going to show just really quick. So this was the very first design. And there were a couple of things I wanted to change on it. One of the things I noticed is that it didn't really shut great, but kind of the first take at it. And then I made a couple of other ones just so you guys can see a couple of different designs. There's so many things you can do with these journals. They're really, really kind of cool. And then it obviously opens up and you've got your pages inside. And again, it's tiny. You can put it almost anywhere, so you always have it. And then the last one that I kind of did was the pineapple. Again, I wanted something bright, fun, sunshine type of a feel to it. So we're going to just do a quick tutorial on how to make these. It's going to be more about putting the journal together, so you can see that. I already pre-stamped things, chose the paper, cut a lot of it down, so did a lot of the die cutting, so we can kind of speed through and focus mostly on how to do the journal. And then you guys can come up with your own designs of what means something to you that, as you're going through the day and you pick it up, it just makes you smile when you see that bright sunshine design that you have. So we're going to dive right in. The one part I am going to cut down is just the booklet itself, and we're actually going to grab the pages. So I'm just using as my inside pages. I wanted something fairly thin, so it's just really easy computer paper. I'm doing 5 pages, and when I cut it down, it actually comes out to be 20 pages inside the booklet. So I'm going to open this up here. Ooh. Let's see. I want to make sure my pages are really lined up. So the size of the booklet that I'm doing is kind of a 4x3. I'm making the cover a little bit larger, and so I'm going to cut the paper itself down to 4x3. So I'm going to line it up at 4 and cut, and then I'm going to do one more. Like I said, I'm doing 20 pages in here. So again, I'm going to line this up at 4 and cut that. And then I'm going to cut the inside. So again, this is going to be 4x3, but because I'm going to fold that paper in half, I'm actually going to cut it at 6. So we're going to line this right up to 6 here and cut that. And then Line these last pages up here to 6 and cut that. So here are my inside pages. And then I'm actually going to just fold these over. And you can try to keep them, obviously when you're folding around, you get it to kind of spread out a little bit, but just try and keep it as even as you can. I'm actually going to use my bone folder here to push it down a little bit more. So those are the inside of my pages. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set those aside right now. And now I'm going to cut the cover. So the cover, you can kind of do the size that you want. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to cut it to where it's 4 by 6, because when you fold that, the pages are going to stick out the edges. So what I've been doing is actually going 4 1/4, and I think I went 6 1/4 as well. Yep, so 6 1/4 for the booklet. And again, we're gonna fold that in half. Oops, not getting a very good fold here. Match that up. And you could score this obviously too and probably do it better than fold, but so here is the cover. So your pages are gonna fit right inside here. You can see it has just the edge going around, so your pages aren't going to stick out once you have this together. So we're going to stick these back over here. Now we want to decorate this cover. So again, I said that I kind of pre-stamped a lot of this, just so you guys didn't have to watch me do everything. So I cut my pieces down. I decided I'm going to do kind of a bright theme again with this one. I really just love the bee set, so even though I know this is no longer available, I just kind of had to put it in because I just love them. So I'm going to piece this cover together, and oops, sorry about that. I'm just going to kind of lay it out here first to get, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot one piece of it. Those are kind of the decorative pieces, but I actually want to cut this piece down to go on to the booklet. So it just kind of creates a cool edge here. So sorry, I almost forgot that. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4 because it needs to match the cover. And then a little bit under 3 because I want the cardstock to actually stick out a little bit, so it kind of just looks like a cool book cover. So there we go. So it has this edge here. You don't have to do that edge. I just liked it a little bit. Plus I don't have to worry about the paper kind of peeling up if it gets too close to that edge. So there we go. So sorry, I forgot about that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this piece on here. Blue. And I'm going to go one down in the middle. So kind of how I try to get them straight on. So it's right to that edge. I'm going to kind of fold it on like that. And then just check the edges before I really press it down, and voila. Okay, so there we go. We have kind of the base for our cover now. Now I'm going to pull these pieces out and kind of figure out how I want to lay them out. I always personally lay everything out before I glue it down. I tend to need to actually see it versus just visualize it and know it's going to look great. So I have to see it before I can really say, oh yeah, I'm going to love that idea. So let's see here. Let me decide kind of how I want to do this. Something like this. And then I have these pieces to kind of bring that bee out here. Let's move this down a little. actually move this over a little. Okay, I'm gonna do something like that. So let's kind of tape this all up. So I'm gonna move these pieces down. Just so I can kind of keep things in place. Oops. I'm gonna pull that paper up there. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna go back here. And take that. So then we're gonna put this back on here and get it kind of lined up how I had it. And my next piece is gonna be this little beehive, which I'm just gonna put some dots of glue on for that. I just kind of find some of the edges to go on. And then I'm going to turn this over. Oh, of course I'm going to get glue all over my desk. All right, so I'm going to add it, I think, right here. And then we have this. I wanted to stick out a little bit, so we'll put this right here. And you can pop these up if you want. The reason I'm not doing it is I want it to be able to go in a purse or, you know, even a pocket and not worry about it catching on things as much. So that's part of the reason I'm not popping it up. Stick my bead there. I do still want this bow. I'm going to try the glue today and see if that will do the trick on my bow. I tend to struggle a little bit with bows. I'm going to stick it right there. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm actually going to add a little bit of embellishment glitter. Now these are some actual, the cutouts from the bee when you do your die with your bee set. These pieces come out. I save them anytime I do a project because I find that I use them actually as kind of an embellishment. So I'm going to just kind of put these around in here to add a little bit more flair to this. So let's see. That one there. Oh. Normally I would be working on my mat, so I wouldn't have to worry about this getting glue everywhere like I'm doing. And I'm wondering, I might, let's see. I think I am gonna add one more. I might have pushed these over a little bit too far, so I'll try and balance it here with adding one more in here. Nope, I'm gonna stop there. Okay, so we have that, and then I'm also going to add a couple of rhinestones because I love them. And like I said, you want to make these kind of how you enjoy things, and when you pull it out, it makes you smile. And I do love glitter, and especially rhinestones. So, okay. So here is our cover. Again, super quick. Obviously, I cut this and stamped it out before, but again, it was really easy. There's just a couple of pieces. I used the rectangle dies. I used the B set. I actually used a paper pumpkin stamp. It's this one here. And it was a saying, but I just used a marker to color in the thankful part. So I didn't use a stamp pad. I colored in the thankful part with a marker and stamped that. So I didn't have the rest of the saying because I wanted it just to be that thankful. Okay, so we have that. We have our paper. And I, of course, have glue everywhere. Now we're going to piece this together. And I have a pad here I'm going to use. And a couple other things I forgot to grab out, so I'm going to pull that out, get some twine. All right, so I'm going to line this paper up to make sure it's all where it needs to be, and then also get it lined up in my book where it needs to be. So that feels pretty good there. I'm going to take this handy little tool here, and I'm going to push the hole through in the middle, a hole through on the top side, and the bottom side. So there are 3 holes that you can see that are punched in here, middle, and here. And then I'm going to take a needle, which is just a sewing needle. This was a little bit larger, so it's easier to work with. And you're going to see how awesome I am with threading these. Okay. I'm actually not going to cut it yet, but I'm going to go from the outside of the book in the middle, and I'm going to punch through that hole like that. And then I moved everything, which I don't want to do, and then I'm going to punch through the top. Oops. So punch through the top. So you have going to the top, and then I'm going to turn it back around, and I'm going to go through the middle again. So you have it through the middle again. Now I'm going to go through that bottom hole. So I'll pull it through the bottom hole. So that's what the inside's going to look like right now. And then I'm going to tie it off. Now, one thing I found out, and I used way too much extra twine, but I actually loop, just to make sure you see this, I loop this under that top one, just so it has an extra kind of an anchor so that when I tie off the bow, it doesn't move down. So I tie it off there, and I actually knot it here. So just get this tight so it's got a good knot right there. And then I'm going to, oops. Well, I'm gonna cut that again, but I usually need lots of extra to tie the bow because I'm not great with bows. As you can see, I'm struggling. Okay, so let's bring this bow way in. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit tighter. I don't want a huge bow here. All right, and then I'm going to cut these off. And there we go. So I have a fun little pocket journal that I can write things I'm thankful for in. I can put this in my purse. I can literally put it in a pocket. I can put it in a dresser. I can have multiple of them. And I have all these little pages that I can write, you know, you can even stamp on these pages to make it a little bit more fun on the inside, but just a really neat thing. The last thing that I want to show you is I noticed that the book, when you have it, it does kind of just open up because you have all the paper kind of pushing it open. So I did add kind of something to close it. So I found a spot where I could tuck it in. So right about there. And then I'm going to I'm really struggling with my, you know what? We're going to use glue because I am having trouble with my tape runner. I'm going to add a little glue right here. I'm going to go back to the front just to make sure I have it where I want it. So I'm going to go right here, and then I'm going to literally just fold this piece around to the back, press that down right here. So it creates a way to close your book. So I kind of liked that extra security for it. And then again, it's really easy to open up. You just kind of got to move that back. And then you can close it again by just tucking it right under the B-wing. So there we go. That's how easy it is. You can use these so many different ways. Like I said, I wanted to use it for reminding myself to write down what I'm thankful for throughout the day. I mean, there's just things that kind of come up that I'm like, wow, I'm actually really thankful for that, and it helps me keep that mindset. But you can use these for writing scriptures down. You know, if you want to pick a scripture a day that you're trying to memorize, write it down in here. You can use them as a journal. You can use it as a thankful journal like I'm doing. But lots of different things you can do with it. They're tons of fun. They make great stocking stuffers as well, or little fun gifts to give to friends. You can write in the pages something special for that person every day and do a, you know, do 30 days, do 30 pages, and stamp and make something decorative that is just kind of a word of encouragement for them for each day. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. I hope you enjoy it. Super easy to do. Have a great day. Thank you so much, guys.